nothing else, I got to give Daryl Morey a lot of credit because he took a gamble when he traded Harden. Instead of trying to get back, an actual piece, he wanted the cap space that was going to come this summer because he wanted to go big game hunting. He did it and he won. He got an all-star caliber player with that money. So credit to him. But as far as the on-court fit goes, I'm not gonna lie, I really like this move for the Sixers. I do. I don't want to, but I do. That small forward, or really both forward positions, have been a massive question mark ever since Jimmy Butler left. Like last year, it was Tobias Harris and Kelly Oubre, both who obviously have talent and had their moments, but it was just a lot of up and down inconsistency. And now you replace at least one of those spots, the Tobias Harris spot, because Kelly Oubre resigned and Tobias Harris actually just signed with Detroit. You replace Tobias Harris now with Paul George. And I know a lot of people like to clown Paul George and criticize Paul George, but the dude still averaged 22 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists last year. That's pretty good numbers. He was an all-star this year, 41% from 3, still a good defender. LA's defense was very good with him on the court. So again, to go from Tobias Harris to Paul George in that area, it's so good. And obviously Paul George has his question marks, he has his weaknesses, but I think what's also going to be interesting about this move and why I like it so much is that with the Clippers, Paul George was the second guy. He was relied on to be the co-star to Kawhi Leonard, and he definitely shined sometimes in those moments, but also struggled at times. But what's really great about him going to Philly is that he's now the third guy. And I think a lot of how we perceive players, a lot of it has to do with their roles and their expectations. So whereas Paul George might have fallen short at times helping the Clippers as a second guy, and even if you don't believe that's true, but some people do, but even whatever question marks you have of him in that role, you talk about those skills and you put them into the number 3 guy, where he's not gonna, again, he'll probably be third on the team in shots. I think he's gonna be able to focus on defense a bit more, which I think he's still more than capable of doing. I think he's just in a not small role, but a smaller role alongside Tyrese Maxey, who just got an extension, and alongside Joel Embiid. I think he's going to look so much better at both ends because he's going to be asked to do more, and I think his talent is still more than capable of doing that. The concern, obviously, for the Sixers with this move is that, this past year was Paul George's first time playing 70-plus games in 5 years. He's had a lot of durability concerns, a lot of different injuries that have nicked him up over the years, and so that's obviously always been a big concern for Philly with Joel Embiid, and now you throw in another big-name star who, yes, when he plays, it's going to be awesome, it's going to be great, but is he going to be able to last a full season? Is he going to be able to be healthy come playoff time? That's going to be especially important now more than ever because Philly, by signing him now, obviously doesn't have the money to necessarily, surround the Sixers with depth to plug and play in when guys miss time. So it's you're really putting more of your eggs in this basket. So can he do that? I don't know. He just turned 34, so that doesn't necessarily, make me the most optimistic. But again, he just played 70 games at 33, so who really knows? I don't. But if nothing else, it's definitely a gamble worth taking if you're the Sixers, because instead of just running back more or less the same team or using that money to spread it out and build a nice supporting cast, I do think this league is built on stars. You need star power. You need big guys. You need when a game comes down to the last 5 minutes and it's crunch time, you need an elite 5-man unit. And Paul George definitely is a massive upgrade over Tobias Harris. Again, to go from Tobias Harris, where I watched that series against the Knicks, he was awful. You keep expecting him to maybe be okay, this is gonna be the game he shows up. This is gonna be the game. No, and he just never did. To go from that to Paul George, who I think is probably a more underrated playoff performer than people give him credit for. Yes, he's had his duds. The pandemic P in the bubble wasn't great, but he also then helped the Clippers overcome Kawhi's injury to get to the 2021 conference finals and helped take the Suns 6 games. That happened. Remember his time in Indiana. That was when he rose to, that's when we all started to know his name, when he took LeBron 7 games in 2013. So definitely a better player performer than, I think maybe gets credit for. So that's just a massive upgrade, and it's an upgrade worth making if you're the Sixers. He's going to have to stay healthy, of course, but I think if he does, it's a massive upgrade at both ends. You have this trio of guys. I think this is probably the only legit big 3 in the league with Embiid, Maxey, and now Paul George. It's going to be a great move, and just, man, the East, the Knicks had a week where they were like the hot team in the East, and now that's gone. The East just got even more crowded. I don't know if they could compete against Boston because I think Boston's just 5-man unit in general is just so unstoppable, but it definitely gives the Sixers an added bonus. It definitely makes them better and definitely helps them keep pace with the top teams in the East.